All right, today's date is 1/23/23. 23 to the power of 2 to the power of 2 to the power of 2. David, iPad away. I'm going to teach you simple interest. Simple interest. Write this down. Focus. Focus. Simple interest. Let's go. All right, simple interest. There's a positive simple interest, and then there's a negative. Most of us will deal with the negative interest. Some of us will be lucky enough. Oh, wrong button. Some of us will be lucky enough to deal with positive simple interest. How many of you have a bank account, a savings account right now in the bank? You know that you guys have an account in the bank right now. Woohoo! Yay, you guys. So what you know, or you don't know, is if you have money in the bank, you are earning interest. The bank is paying you a small amount to keep your money with them. It's very small, but it's free money just for keeping your money there. So maybe your parents opened it up when you were born, and every time you have Christmas or birthday money, you know, your grandparents deposit money in there. Yay. But you can't use it until you're 18. Yay. Maybe like that. All right. Have you guys ever been to the store and your parents use a credit card and they swipe, and then you take everything home and you're like, yeah. So when you use a credit card, not a debit, a credit card, you're borrowing money. You're borrowing money from Visa, MasterCard, Target, whatever. And they swipe it, and then at the end of the month, let's say I go to Target and I buy $100 worth of something, right? I charge it on my Target credit card. Go home, fantastic, look at all the decorations I bought. Woo! At the end of the month, I get a statement, and it says, Miss Amelie, you owe $100 to Target. Okay, cool. Well, guess what? I don't want to pay for it. So I don't pay for it. Haha. Take that, Target. Okay, so it was $100. Then the next month comes, and I get another statement. Now I didn't spend any money at Target. Do I still owe $100? No. I owe more.
What?
All of a sudden, I owe $120 to Target, and I'm like, but I didn't spend any money. Why are you charging me an extra $20? Why? Interest, because you didn't pay it. So if you don't pay your credit card bills at the end of the month, guess what you get charged? An interest. And a late fee. Both whammies. So you get charged a late fee and interest. Sad. Very sad. If I only pay, out of the $100 I owe Target, if I only pay $50, guess what? Those other $50 that I owe, they charge me interest. So the next time someone hey, can I borrow $5? Can I borrow $5? You're like, yeah, sure, I'll let you borrow $5, but you got to pay me $6. I love it. What are you doing? You're charging them interest. Next time your brother asks you for money, you're like, yeah, I'll give you 20. But you owe me 25. Do it. Tell them I just learned about interest. Let's say I want to buy my super awesome car, and it costs $60,000. Now, am I going to go to the dealership and be like, hey guys, here's $60,000. Let me have this car? No. Guess what we have to do when we buy cars?
Interest.
Well, before that, we go to the bank and go like, hey bank, can I borrow $60,000? And they're like, well, who are you? Well, I'm Miss Amelie. Oh, okay, cool. Here's $60,000. And they'll give me $60,000, which I'll go.
Is it a loan?
It's a loan, yeah. You take out a loan. You go to the dealership, you go, like, here's my check that my bank gave me. May I have my car? And they're like, yes, of course. Here's your car. Woohoo. Do I have to pay back those $60,000? Yes. But you pay more. You got to pay? Interest. So my car that cost $60,000 might end up being like $65,000, and I pay $5,000 in interest. When you buy a house, guess what you're gonna pay? Interest, because you gotta take out a loan. Yay! Being an adult.
No.
Woo! That's a lot of money. Yes, may I have a discount on this loan? No. Okay, first step. is to find interest. Okay, first thing is, well, you're going to use your hands and write this down and not be on your phone. Yes, interest. This is super, super different. To find interest, you are going to take this formula. I equals PRT. What? PRT. What does this stand for? Okay. Oh, does everybody know what these dots mean? Times. Okay, so these dots mean times. So you're going to take P times R times T. But what do all these letters mean, Miss Amelia? It's so confusing. Yes. I stands for interest. So in order to solve for interest, you're going to multiply P stands for principal. I know, it's weird. But principal meaning money. Now, we can't call it money. We have to find a fancy word for money that's confusing for everybody, so we call it principal. The R stands for rate, which is a fancy word for the percent, okay? They complicate this so much. And then the T stands for time.
Trade?
Time.
Trade.
In years. Okay? So, it looks hard. It looks really weird. It looks like, what are we doing? All we're really doing is multiplying three numbers together. You're multiplying the money that you borrowed, the percent, and then the years. Does it take you 5 years to pay back your car? Yes. Does it take you 30 years to pay back your house? Yes. How long are you going to give your brother to pay you back those $20?
2 days.
2 days. Okay, step number 2. You're going to find the total. You're going to find the total. You're going to find the total. How do you find your total? You're going to take your principal and you're going to add your interest. So the answer that you get for number 1, you're going to add it to the money. This will give you your total amount. So this kind of makes sense. The second step is the same as tax and tip, right? You take your principal and you add your interest. That will give you your total amount. So that's the same as everything we've done before. This is the new part. The interest is the new part. Okay? Everybody write this down nice and neatly. This is like what you're going to be doing over and over and over and over and over again. We're okay? Are we good? This is the most important part of the notes. Right here. Right here. This is the most important part. All right. So, let's say I borrow $60,000 from the bank to buy my super cool, awesome car. So we're writing this down. I borrow $60,000 from the bank. I pay it back in 5 years. That's how usually long it takes to pay for a car. At a rate of 4%. How much will I owe in total? Okay, so we're writing this down nice and neatly. We're focusing, paying attention. Okay. So, you have to tell me, first off, what is the principal equal to, the rate equal to, and the time equal to? So what is the money equal to? How much money did you take out? Did you borrow? 60,000. Make sure you have enough zeros on the 60,000. What's the rate? The rate is the percent. So what percent? 4%. 4%. Okay. What is 4% written as a decimal? 0.04. Okay? Time in years.
5 years.
5. Okay? So all of this information is in the word problem. The P stands for money. Okay, so how much money did you borrow? The R stands for your percent, so 4%. And the T stands for years. How many years? 5 years. So we pull out all the information. Now, what are we going to do with these three numbers? Multiply. So to find the interest, we need to do 60,000 times 0.04 times 5. Make sure your dots don't look like decimals. You see how they're kind of floating in the middle? Decimals are on the floor. Multiplications are in the middle. Okay? So you're going to take 60,000 times 0.04 times 5. Write it down. Take out your calculator. Let's do it. Ain't no way we're not going to use a calculator for this. Alright, what do we get when we typed it in? 12,000. This is called your interest. Interest equals 12,000. Now do it on your calculator. See the 12,000 on your calculator. Don't just assume you'll get it right when it's your turn. 12,000. Fantastic. Is that how much I will owe? No. What's my second step? So all of this, it's a long step one. But second step, you're going to find your total. So I'm going to take my principal and I'm going to add my interest. So to find your total, you're going to add your principal, your money, plus your interest. What's your principal? 60,000. Plus, what's your interest? 12,000. What's 60,000 times 12,000?
72,000.
Okay, this is the total you will owe. Total that you will owe. 72,000. So my car that cost 60,000 in reality will cost me $72,000. Save your money. This is a little bit different. You actually do pay a lot less. But for 7th grade, this is how we do the math. It's a little bit less. But yeah, this is how the real world works, kids.
Would it be like 70,000?
Yeah, this honestly, like the way we do this math, which is not the way we do in the real world, this is if you make no payments. And you make one last payment after 5 years, you make one payment. Now, what happens if you don't make payments every month in the real world? They take the car back. The repo man shows up in the middle of the night with the tow truck and they repo it. So in real world, you have to make monthly payments. So if I'm making monthly payments, this goes down every month, right? This, the way we do math in 7th grade, this is, hey, you don't make any payments. So that's not true. You have to make payments. So this is a little bit not super 100% accurate, but for 7th grade, this is what we do in 7th grade. It's a little different in the real world. But it's still, you still pay a lot. So save your money. Stay in school, kids. Stay in school. But let's look at the positive. I have a savings account. Yay, savings account. I have a savings account. Maybe you do. Maybe you'll open one after today. Maybe with your birthday money, you'll open up an account. With $4,500. Hey, that's a lot of money. $4,500. It earns 2% interest. Now the bank has a very low interest rate. They don't like to pay money, so the interest rate is very low. But at the end of the day, it's free money.
Money's money.
Yeah. If I leave the money there for 18 years, how much will I have? So I have a savings account with $4,500. It earns 2% interest. If I leave the money there for 18 years, how much will I have? So this is kind of like, we open it, but you can't touch it until you're 18. You're an adult. You can make the right decisions when you're 18. We're hoping. Okay, so how much money will I have? Will I have more or will I have less than $4,500? Hopefully more. Okay, so you got to find what's the principal, the rate, and the time. So tell me, what's the principal, the rate, and the time? Miss Amelia, I already forgot what principal stands for. And then I'd be like, oh, don't worry. Principal stands for?
Money.
Yes. And the R stands for?
Rate.
Rate, meaning the percent. And the T is in?
Time.
Time in years. So fill in this. What's the money? What's the rate? Written as a decimal. What's the money? What's the rate? What's the time? All right, give you back your homework logs. Keep those for tomorrow. Saves us time tomorrow. Okay, principal is $4,500. The rate is 2%, which is also equal to 0.02, and the time is 18. Were we able to do those three numbers correctly? Yay! All right. So to find interest, you have to do P times R times T. P times R times T. PRT. PRT. So I'm going to take 4,500 times 0.02 times 18. So 4,500 times 0.02 times 18. Type it into your calculator slowly so we don't make silly little mistakes. All right, so what do we get? What is 4,500 times 0.02 times? Type it in. Some of you, you're using the calculator and then you forget a zero or forget a decimal and everything is wrong. Sucks. Okay, what is the interest? 1620? Do we agree with 1620?
Yes.
Good. So type it in. 4,500 times 0.02 times 18. 1620. Very good. Are we done? Am I only going to have $1,600 in the bank?
No.
No. What do I have to do?
Add the principal with the interest.
Yay. So step number 2, find your total. Principal plus your interest. So my principal is 4,500 plus my interest is 1,620. And what does the calculator or your brain tell you that equals to? What's 4,500 plus 1,620? So my total is equal to $6,120. I mean, does it look like it's a lot of math and difficult? Yeah. But you have a calculator. As long as you can, like, pull out the numbers here, you should be okay. This is, I think, the hardest part. Like, what are the 3 numbers I gotta multiply? Once I have my 3 numbers, calculator. Jocelyn, focus. Not on saying hello. All right. Okay, this is awesome. I took out a $700,000 loan to buy a small house. So I had to take out $700,000 loan to buy a small house.
What?
What?
700,000.
Yes.
My mom pays cheaper for this.
Well, let me show you something that you may or may not know of. Pause. That's cool. Come on now. Do they not know? Okay. I took out a $700 check. Okay. It takes 30 years to pay it back. And this is true. To pay it back.
They literally hit the window. Can I go outside? No, this is not.
Are they playing red light, green light?
Oh.
That's crazy.
Why are they hitting the wall? Why are they hitting the wall? Signage says it's the wall. Can I go outside?
No. If we mean it, well, unless you're being mean and evil.
She is evil. Just tell them that.
Okay. Pay it back at an interest rate of 7%. Interest rates are high right now. It used to be 3, now it's 7. The higher this is, the more money you pay. If this is a lower interest rate, the less you pay. So this could be a totally true story, right? You saw the prices of homes around here in this neighborhood. $700,000 is not out of the question for a house here in the neighborhood. It does take about 30 years to pay for a house. The only thing is with this math, it's like you don't make any payments. But in a house, you have to make payments. So our principal, our rate, and our time. Can you fill in these 3 numbers? Can you tell me what is the principal, what is the rate, what is the time? So read the question, read the word problem again, pick out those 3 numbers. You can look back at your notes and be like, oh yeah, what was principal again? How do we get that money, that amount? Okay, so you should have had these 3 numbers, 700,000, 0.07, and then 30. Now, what do I do with those 3 numbers? We're going to times them. So interest is equal to P times R times T. PRT. Principal times rate times time. PRT. So 700,000 times 0.07 times 30. Plug them into your calculator. Now, the number one mistake kids do is they'll forget to type in a 0 somewhere. So when you type them in, make sure it's 70,000. You don't have to type in the comma. It should appear naturally, right? Okay. It doesn't? On Desmos or what? I know on Apple calculators it does.
$1,470,000.
It kind of spaces it weird. If you notice it, it does space it kind of weird.
I can't speak English.
As you're speaking English to me.
I can't speak.
It's okay. It's okay. Okay. What is our interest equal to? How do you pronounce that number, Hope? It's a very big number, David. What do we get in our calculator? 1,470,000. That's it. So this is pronounced 1,470,000. Okay? A lot. Is that the total? No, this is just interest. Now, to be honest, you'll pay a lot less. This is if you don't make any payments in 30 years. Obviously you are, right? So this will be a lot less. But is it a lot? Yeah. Imagine for 30 years, you're paying a lot. Okay, so we're going to go total equals P plus I. So tell me, what is our total? Add the principal plus the interest. The principal plus the interest, and it's a giant number.
2,170,000.
So your house, your small little house of $700,000 is $2,170,000. If your grandparents own a house, they probably spent less than $100,000 for it. Next time you're with your grandparents and they own a house, you should ask them, Mom and Grandma, Grandpa, we've been doing some like math at school about loans and credit cards. How much did you pay for your house? And some of your grandparents probably paid maybe around $100,000 or less. Ah, the good old days. And if your parents bought a house, ask them, because some of your parents might have spent this much, or some of them spent a lot less, because the market's been crazy. It's just been crazy. This is not due today. The lesson today was super long because it's different when we talked. But we're gonna start it. It's not gonna be due today. Interest equals PRT for step 1. Then step 2, the total is equal to principal plus interest, right? So these are the things you're going to be doing. You're going to be multiplying PRT, and then the second step, Angel, is to take the total, which is P plus your I. Okay, a lot of variables today. So let's read number 1. Mark borrowed $3,000 from the bank and agreed to pay the bank 4% in interest on the loan. How much will Mark need to pay back after 2 years? Okay, so the first thing you have to do is figure out what's the P, what's the R, and what's the T. So take out the 3 numbers, P, R, T. Tell me what the P stands for, R. Principal times rate times time. All right, what's the principal? How much money did you borrow? $3,000. So write that down. What's the rate? 4%, which is equal to? Nice. And what's the time? 2 years. So what do I get to do with those 3 numbers? Multiply them. So use your calculator. Multiply these 3 numbers together to tell me what the interest equals. $3,000 times 0.04 times 2. What do we get?
240.
240. Very good. Am I done? No. Now we have to do, so this is all step 1. Now we have to do step 2. What do I do in step 2? I add the principal, which is 3,000, plus the I, which is interest, which is what we just got, 240. So I add 3,000 plus 240. Nice. This will give me my total. Pretty easy? Yeah. I mean, lost steps. They're not super difficult. Can you imagine doing this without a calculator? The torture. The torture. I love it. Let's not use calculators.
What?
Oh, what? Oh, you were listening? I was going to say, who? Anyway? All right, number 2. There's something tricky about number 2. Something tricky about number 2.
What about the year?
There's really 2 numbers. 2 numbers. There's 1 number missing. It's there. You have to be a detective and figure out what is the missing number that should be there. What is it? How do you know it's a 1? Yeah. It says a year A year, which means 1. But what do kids don't see it. They gotta use their English skills. A year, 1 year.
I thought we were math, not English.
Well, a year. Oh no, I hope they don't hurt themselves. That would be terrible. A year, so that means that the time is equal to 1. Okay? But what is the P? What is the R? The time is 1 because it says a year. A year. All right, let's see. What do we get for number, what's the total for number 2?
5,300.
Yep. So if you got 5,300, yeah, tap, pat yourself on the back. Good job. Myself, good job. I always believed in you.